Palworld just had one of its biggest updates yet. In this update, they added raids and even brand new items for the game. One of the items they added was the ore mining site. So here's a tier list of the best mining pals to use. I ranked all the pals based on obtainability, their mining level, and what the odds were for them being distracted during their work. But enough of that, let's get right into the video. Okay, starting off with pal number 1, we have the offspring of an affair between Pink Panther and Charmander. And while we're on the subject, who actually made this thing? Like, I want to know who actually made this thing. But anyways, yeah, we're talking about Kativa. And I think everybody knows exactly where this pal is gonna go. Yep, you guessed it, straight at the bottom at F tier. And I think my choice is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, he has a mining level 1, he gets distracted pretty often, and there's literally nothing good about him when it comes to mining. But what are the odds that you find a pal that somehow becomes worse than the first pal you see in the game? Well, let me tell you, they're actually not that low. For example, here's one of them. Yes, Marath, and I'm gonna put Marath right under Kativa.
But Tater's Marath is so cool and it's so hard to get.
Now listen here, Jimmy, I understand your frustration, but if you think I'm gonna spend 30 hours of my life trying to get this stupid pal just for it to have mining level 1, you are sadly mistaken. Well, I don't want to make Jimmy more pissy than he already is, so let's move a little bit up the list and away from all the controversial pals I'm going to be talking about. So for our next pal, I'm going to be talking about Quivern, and Quivern I'm going to place at C tier. So the reason I'm doing this is because he's a mining level 2, he's actually pretty easy to get because you can find his alpha at a level 23. Apart from that, he doesn't have any passive skills that increase his working speed, and he does get distracted sometimes due to the fact that he has some other work suitabilities. Next on the list, we have Fuddler, and Fuddler has a mining level 1. He's obviously really easy to get due to the fact that he spawns everywhere and at a really low level. Apart from that, he has an ability called Ore Detector, which is obviously really self-explanatory. And it has no passive skills that increase its working speed. However, it does have a passive skill that increases the player's mining speed by 25%. So I guess that's okay. But for all of those reasons, I'm going to be placing Fuddler at a D tier. And in all honesty, the only reason I'm not placing him at an F tier with Kativa is because he gets distracted less often than Kativa does. Alright you guys, I just triple checked. I'm very confident that Jimmy's gone. So now that he's gone, I'm going to be talking about our legendaries, Palladius and Necromus. Okay, these guys are legendary pals, so obviously they're going to be an S tier rank, right? Well, no, they're actually not. I'm going to bring them all the way down to C tier and D tier.
Tater's why?
God damn it, Jimmy. Isn't it past your bedtime? You know what? I'm not even going to explain myself to you. Go fight me in the comments. Alright, I'm getting really sick and tired of being in these lower ranks, so let's go all the way up here. Okay, for this one we have Anubis, and Anubis I'm going to place at an A tier. In all honesty, there's really nothing bad about Anubis. It has a mining level 3. You can get it really easily if you breed for it. Apart from that, it has really good passive skills that increase its working speed. And the only reason I didn't put it as an S tier is because it only has mining level 3, so it's not max. And since we're on the subject of max level mining, let's talk about Blazemut. For this pal, there is a lot of good things about it. For example, it has a lot of passive skills for work boost. It has a very low chance of getting sidetracked. It also has a mining level 4, which is the highest, but the best thing about him is that if you condense enough of these pals together, it can reach a level 5 mining. So even though it's really hard to get, and you can't even breed for it, I'm still going to be placing him as an S tier. So obviously Blazemut is more of an endgame pal, and you're most likely not going to get him unless you get really lucky. So what if you just started Palworld, and you want to get the best pal that you can possibly get for mining? Well, in that case, I would say get yourself a Tombat. Now, by no means am I saying that this Butch Cat impersonating a Lunala is the best miner in the game, but he is the best pal to get, in my opinion, if you just started in Palworld and you need a miner. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because Tombat, not only is he really easy to get, but he doesn't get sidetracked often at all. Apart from that, he has a mining level 2 and he works 24/7. The only downside to him is that he has no good passive skills that increase his work speed, but he also doesn't have anything bad against work speed. So because of all of this, I'm going to be putting him at the lowest part of B tier. And since we're already on B tier, we might as well cover the other pal that's on B tier. The other pal on B tier is the evolution of Skorupi, and that's Menacing. Like I said before, I'm going to be putting this pal at B tier right above Tombat. The main reason I put Menacing at B tier instead of A tier with all the other mining level 3 pals is because Menacing is a lot harder to get than all the other pals that are going to be and are on A tier. However, Menacing is still a really good pal to have mid game and late game. This is because he doesn't get sidetracked that often at all, and he has the passive skills that are Artisan and Work Slave, which increases work speed by 50% as well as 30%. Alright, now that we've covered pals that are higher on the tier list, how about we go lower down to F and D tiers and cover the rest of the ones on those. So to finish off with F tier, we're going to be talking about Incineram. So this pal I'm going to put right in between Kativa and Marath. The reason I'm doing this is because it's easier to get than Marath, but harder to get than Kativa. Regardless, there was a few reasons I decided to put Incineram at an F tier. So reason number 1 was he has a mining level 1. Reason number 2 is he gets distracted pretty commonly. Reason number 3 is because he has no passive skills that increase his work speed. And reason number 4 is that he has a lot of passive skills that actually decrease his work speed. But anyways, we all know that Incineram has another version to him, which is Incineram Knocked. So why am I not putting Incineram Knocked at an F tier? There's only one reason I'm not going to be putting Knocked at an F tier, and instead I'm going to be putting him at a D tier. And the only reason is because he is a nocturnal pal, so he works 24/7. Anyways, while we're still on D tier, let's cover the rest of the pals that are going to be on it. And if we're being completely honest, nobody cares about who's on D tier, so I'm going to cover these guys really quick. So the next pals on D tier are going to be Mamorist, Mamorist Christ, Rushor, and Depresso. Starting off with Depresso, he has a mining level 1, a low chance of getting distracted, easy to obtain, works 24/7, and has lots of passive skills for working speed. So I'm going to put him right above Incineram Knocked. Next up, we have Rushor. This pal has a mining level 1, a very low chance of getting sidetracked, it's really easy to get, and it has some good passive skills for movement speed. However, since it doesn't work 24/7, I'm going to be putting him right under Incineram Knocked and right above Fuddler. Finally, for our last two pals on this tier, we have Mamorist and Mamorist Christ. So for both of these pals, I'm going to be placing them right under Palladius and right above Depresso. Now the reason I'm putting these guys so low is because they are just so hard to get, and even when you get them, they only have a mining level 2. Apart from that, they get distracted pretty often as well, and they're really big pals, so they take up a lot of space. However, they do have some redeeming factors, which are their partner skill and their passive skills. Anyways, before I move on to some better pals, I want to say thank you if you made it this far out. If you're enjoying, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you're not, make sure to comment down below and tell me what I could do better next time. Alright, let's get right back into it. Now that we have the D tier out of the way, let's move on to some pals that you're actually going to want to catch. So to start off on a good note, we have Reptyro and Reptyro Christ. As for Reptyro, he has a mining level 3, kindling level 3, he has a very low chance of getting sidetracked, you can obtain him pretty easily, plus he has the partner skill or loving beast and lots of passive skills that up his working speed. Similarly, Reptyro Christ has a mining level 3, however instead of kindling level 3, it has a cooling level 3. It also has a low chance of getting sidetracked. However, it's a little bit harder to obtain due to the fact that you have to breed for it or capture it at a very high level. Apart from that, it also has a good amount of passive skills that up his working speed. Because of all of these reasons, I'm going to be putting Reptyro at an A tier right above Anubis and Reptyro Christ at an A tier right under Anubis. Next up, we have Dumud. Oh god, those things are actually disgusting. Can you imagine you're just out in nature enjoying your life and then all of a sudden you see the disgusting ass freaking toe muncher coming up at you? But anyways, yeah, Dumud. So this pal has a mining level 2, it has a medium chance of getting distracted, it's very easy to obtain, but it has no good passive skills for mining. So for this pal, I'm going to be putting him at C tier right under Necromus. Going on to our last Pokemon in C tier, we have Penking. I'm going to be putting Penking right next to Dumud, because both of them have a mining level 2. Penking, however, gets distracted a little bit more often than Dumud does. However, they both have the pretty much same obtainability. Another thing is that Penking has a lot of work speed boost from his passive skills, unlike Dumud. Finally, we are on to our last two pals on this tier list. For this first one, I recommend so much to get because he's just a really good pal for mining all around. So to start off, we have Digtoys. This pal has a mining level 3. He's easy to obtain in this little desert region. He also won't ever get sidetracked on another job because he doesn't have any other work suit abilities. He has a partner skill called Drill Crusher, and he also has a passive skill, Artisan, which does 50% work speed. So for all of these reasons, I'm going to be putting Dig Toys at an A tier right at the top. And you guys know I'm going to be saving the best pal for last. This pal is Estegon. Estegon has a mining level 4, a very low chance of getting sidetracked. It has Artisan and Work Slave for its passive skills, which both increase work speed. Apart from that, it is pretty hard to obtain. The easiest way that I would say to get him is by breeding. However, another good thing about him is that if you condense enough of him, he also can have a mining level 5. Now we all know where this pal is going. He's going to the very top of S tier. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed, leave a comment down below.
But Taters, I'm pretty sure you're missing a pal.
Ah, sweet. You just had to remind him of this abomination, didn't you? Well, if I must rank it, I will put it right where it belongs. And on that note, see you guys next time.